Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1.
And then we'll say it at the same time.
Hello.
Hello. You just
Hello.
talk,
Hello.
right? Let's make sure they're recording both voices.
Hey.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm too blessed to be stressed. That's what the people say.
Right.
That's what the old folks say. Thank you so much for joining me on my podcast.
Of course.
Hopefully this will be like a reoccurring thing.
I think it should be a thing.
Exactly. It's so much fun, right?
Loving it already.
Hell yes. But yes, okay, so I like to do it where each guest has to ask, or I ask the guest 3 questions. And I think it's a good icebreaker and a way to be like, actually, this is me, right?
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, what did emotions look like in your house growing up?
Ooh, good question. I want to start with, I always felt loved. I never felt like I wasn't important to my parents. They always showed us love. They kissed and hugged, and so we saw them being loved. I felt like I got my basic needs met. I didn't want for anything really. I feel like honestly I was spoiled. But with that, it's hard to communicate within the house, like as far as expressing emotions. Like if we were crying or we felt the way about something, we kind of just had to deal with it. We didn't get to talk through it. We didn't get to, like, because that was considered like talking back.
Right.
In the Black household.
Right.
You just go with the flow of whatever it is, and you pretty much pack up your feelings essentially.
Right.
And so that part of it, I know, I'm sure it has something to do with my life now, but we did not get to express emotions really.
Okay. Same. I definitely, well, it'll be a fun episode, right?
Definitely.
But children were definitely brought up to be seen and not heard.
Definitely. I didn't feel heard.
Right?
Just
And
really
obedient.
Quiet.
And obedient children.
Yes.
So the second question I have is, how did you see, it's 2 parts, right? So it's, how did you see yourself growing up? How do you think the world saw you? And how do you see yourself now? I guess it's a 3-part question.
That's a 3-part.
It's like bam, bam, bam.
Okay. I always saw myself as being just risk averse. I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't like getting in trouble, so that was just my thing.
Right.
So I didn't want attention. So I really was just a chill kid, honestly. Probably I would say more so shy than anything. So I was quiet. I would say smart. I got really good grades. I was in the talented and gifted program. In school, it just kind of came easy to me. I didn't really study. I tell people I literally had to learn how to study when I got to college because I was just one of those people. Like, I don't feel like I was a genius. Like, I was the top of the class, but like studying, I was like, I need to learn that. I don't know how to do that. I just know what I know.
Right.
How the world saw me, I would say, and I don't know if it's probably just me, but I kind of always felt like I was the good kid. And so I feel like I had to be the good kid because of that.
Right.
So it's like certain things like, Jazz, you can't do this because you are the good kid and that's how everybody else sees you. So you can't lie. Like I say to this day, I wish I was a better liar because I'm just not good at it. Because in my mind, I was like, you're the good kid. You can't lie. You don't do that.
Right.
My siblings, not so much. Like they were the bad kids and did whatever. It was like, no, your role is the good kid, so you can't do that.
I feel that. Yeah.
So I would say that's pretty much how everybody else saw me too, for the most part.
Okay.
How do I see myself now? I don't feel like I'm a good kid anymore. I feel like that wore off. I feel like I've kind of gotten to a place where I feel balanced.
Okay.
As in, if I want to take risks here and there, I can, and I don't feel bad about it. I'm more so open to doing different things or trying things, actually, like taking a risk.
Okay.
Like I took a trip by myself randomly, 9-day cruise by myself.
That's legit.
Yeah, and I actually like did excursions and everything. Like I didn't just stay on the ship. Like legit explored and did it by myself, and like that was a big deal for everybody who knew me. Was like, yeah, what is going on with you? Right. So I definitely feel like I've kind of come into my own now.
It is freeing once you're like, I can do this.
I can do whatever. I've always been independent too. I didn't really need, like, I mean, of course I needed my parents, but they knew that, like, I was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't need much from anything or from anybody, really.
Right. Or what would they call that? What, adaptive.
Probably.
It's like an adaptive trait, right? Because
I'm sure
I think
it is, honestly.
sometimes when you are the good kid or the more stable kid,
Mhm.
especially in comparison to siblings, no shade intended, because
We
hey
still love
brother, if
y'all.
you're listening,
We still love y'all.
but I don't want to say it in like a bad way, but there is almost a layer of neglect,
Yeah.
because you are always good. You don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about you.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes um, when you like adapt that way, you adapt to your needs not getting met,
Yes.
and
Actually.
and then you can go with the flow. And
Shout out to my therapist on that, because that
right,
you got to get to a point where she's like, sis,
right,
were your needs met though?
exactly there, right?
They fed you and they clothed you, but
were they met? You know,
yeah.
And I think that also, I think we grew up in similar ways where if we are to be seen and not heard, and also obedient and the good ones,
Yep.
I think it's very hard to. I think in so many ways, at least for myself, I told myself, well, my needs are getting met.
Yeah. Get some good over here. I know.
Right. Like
I got
well, obviously,
full.
like they're being met,
Yeah.
but I think, in some ways, I think those kind of show.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Definitely.
pop up in adulthood for me.
Oh yeah, and so many different instances. Like I mean, having conversations with my mom now, she's like, "Well, I didn't know you felt this way." I was like, "Well, one, it was hard to talk to y'all about emotions. Number one,
Right.
And two, did anybody check to see? No, I just assumed, oh, Jazz is good, she got it. Like I had to figure out a lot of stuff,
right,
because of this independence, like this trait that I'm inherited. I have to have it.
Right.
I have to, because who else is gonna take care of it and do it if I don't do it?
Right.
So that's definitely me now, for sure.
So now how you see yourself, right? Independent, strong, capable.
Yeah.
Are there needs that you want to be like met, like how you see yourself now?
Yeah. So I mean, I still feel like there is like probably my inner little girl still needs to be heard. And so that's why I probably struggle in relationships, is because I still at times will find myself suppressing my needs, because it's like I'm so used to doing it because I've been doing it for 31 years.
I'm feeling attacked.
I'm attacking myself. Like, I know that it's something that I've always done, and it's so hard for me to say, hey, this is great and I like you, but hey, I need this.
Right.
Also.
I need this.
I need it. And it's hard for me to say that because I'm so used to
girl, it gives me feelings in my stomach just thinking about it. Like, but it's so necessary, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's so necessary. I had this person ask me, what is something that you would never tell a date, that like a person that you were dating, like what's something that you would want to like teach yourself that you feel like you'd never want to say? And I was like, ooh, that's such a good question.
It's super deep.
Right? Oh. And my answer, I want to know your answer, but mine was like, I have always kind of been told, you know, like I have HSP, I'm a highly sensitive person. And I said, I need kind of a lot. I need, you know, of course, like the attention and consistency. But I said, but the other thing that sometimes I don't want to tell the people that I'm dating, but I need to, is that I like to be pampered. Like I am kind of a girly girl. I have a routine. Like I love getting my nails done. I love getting my hair done. I like getting a massage. I like going shopping.
Yes.
And I said, and I want to like be taken care of, and that to me is like a thing that I want and desire. Right. And I said, and sometimes, especially now, saying that like I want those things and expect those things.
Right.
I don't want to say that that's how I ended it. I said, I don't want to say I'm high maintenance, but I am maintenance. And I'm okay. I said, that's one of the things. I mean, dudes with podcasts, I mean, come on, right? Those are one of the things that maybe I'd be afraid or I'd never want them to know, but it is something that to me expresses that they care. Yeah. And so it's something that I want, and I would always be afraid of saying it. But I actually said it this time, so.
Okay, interesting.
What would
I
yours be?
I think mine. I'm an empath. Which is oftentimes for some people like they're like really, but any little thing, any emotion, anywhere I'm in a room with anybody, I can feel the emotion
Mm-hmm.
resonating off of people.
Right.
Like I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if they try to mask it. I pick up on it. I feel it. So when I'm dating someone or I'm interested in someone, any little minor change
Oh
in
God.
mood
Yeah.
affects me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does, which is like, of course, we'll get into it. Like when things start changing, and then you're like, no, everything's fine. I
Mm-hmm.
feel it. It's
Right.
it's. I know. Like there's been so many times where I've called situations before they happen with somebody that I'm dating because I feel the change literally
Right.
in their emotion towards me. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know. I try to say, oh, or I try to lead with, oh no, I'm cool in relationships. I'm cool. But I'm
Right.
not. Like I know that I'm gonna feel what you're feeling, so I need you to be honest with what it
Right.
is that you're looking for, what your intentions are, all of that, because I'm going to feel it. Like
Right.
either way, it'll
Right.
eat at me if we can't discuss it.
So, like, another word is you're sensitive and quite in
Extremely.
tune with.
I'm very,
Yeah.
and I try not to use the word sensitive because something that people don't want to be viewed as sensitive.
Right. I do. I am, and I
as
do.
I get older, I'm like, no, I'm going to embrace it and say like, hey, I'm sensitive. Yes, we can joke around, we can have hard discussions and do all of these different things. And sometimes you may say stuff and I won't take it away, but there are going to be times
Right.
where I do feel a way about what you said or what you did because I feel it.
Because I feel it.
So yeah.
And I know that you can't control the way that I feel.
Right.
But I need you to be aware that this is how I feel. And then if there's something that perhaps you need to change, or maybe if we just talked it out to where I understood, because I think that's a thing for me is feeling where you said unheard, that, but also kind of in the dark, like where I'm guessing.
The
like
unknown.
I don't want to have to, especially if it's like someone I'm like with, or even like in friendship, like I don't want to have to guess where we stand. I'd like to know that when you're speaking to me, it is coming from a place of, I know this person cares about me. I know this person respects me. I know this person wants the best for me. And that, I think, it's built over time.
Yeah.
So when you're building those things, it's imperative, I think, for me to be consistent with that, because when they start to
deviate
wobble,
from that,
I just start to, I mean, what is it called? I can't think of it, but
unwind.
Not even unwind. It's what do they use when you watch a movie? When you go see the movie in the movie screen, I'm gonna think of the word.
We'll come back to it.
Projector. Got it.
Okay.
So it's like, think of an old time movie projector, right? And when those things happen, in my mind, everything's fine. In fact, I haven't even been thinking about it.
Right.
But then if there's a change in tone that I don't quite understand, and all of a sudden it went from hot to cold to medium to cold, right? Just those things where perhaps it's just you're having a bad day. And everyone has those, but if I don't understand what's happening, then that projector in my mind is going to start making a movie. Like I'm going to be creating scenarios
and scene
and another scene and another scene.
Right.
That's it. Just like runs,
yes.
And it lifts my anxiety. It gives me angst, and I hate it.
I mean, of course, now knowing that's like people have their thing about love languages, but I feel like you need all of them, honestly. And of course, certain things are higher and lower for other people, but for me, with the shifts in energy, I need like the words of affirmation part of it. I have to have that part. That to me is top of the list above everything, which probably comes back from wanting to be heard. So it's like we need to have those conversations. I need to hear those words so I can say, okay, well, this is how I feel about that. So I can get that off. So now I feel good about where I am.
Now I'm like, okay, check. Let's keep it moving. I feel like with those, I realized for the love languages, and I feel like I want someone, I know I've seen a few TikToks of people that have been writing different like paths for love languages, because I think that those are based on, as we know in psychology, white men. older adult white men, right? I think that if they had like the love languages for like people that are like on different spectrums, or like the in my how I like to say it, the neurospices. Like I have ADHD, so if I would say if I had to pick out of the 5 that are there, that my number 1 would be like acts of service.
Okay.
And then my second would be physical touch.
Okay.
And then the third would be quality time.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So those would be my top 3. But if they had a category for someone like me that kind of runs a mile a minute and has a lot of thoughts running at the same time, it would be a love language would just be to nurture me, right? Okay. Someone nurturing. So caring if I've had a heavy day, and if I had a heavy day, they're going to be like nurturing for that. They give a hug, or, you know, let's turn on like a Pixar, like one of those, like, or, you know what, I'll watch Bravo with you Sunday night. You know what, turn on Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. Incredible show, by the way. But like that to me, that would be like nurturing, someone who would want to see me grow. That's a love language to me. Interesting. Like everyone always tells me like, oh, you're so soothing. I think I need to be soothed. I think. And
that's why.
Yeah.
Now see, the thing, acts of service, like that one is always kind of like 3 or down further for me, because it's weird for me to receive that. But it's how I show that I love someone, or how I show that I care. Right. Same. Which is I don't know, it's weird. Like when people do stuff for me, it's hard for me to accept it. Like why? I'm okay with it, but I don't know. My first response is like, why are you doing this? It freaks me out. I don't know why. I don't know if it goes back to me being so dependent on myself and having to go do and go get whatever it is that I want or whatever I need. And so when someone takes that from me and does it for me, it's weird for me to receive it.
You know, it's like for me.
More stuff to unpack in therapy, I'm sure.
I feel like for me, like acts of service, it goes so many ways, right? Because how one is viewed, it's like, oh, they walked my dog, they took out the trash. Yeah. Those are things, right? That is an act of service. But I think that's why I'm like, no, but it also leads into like the nurturing, right? Like,
I think it does, though.
An act of service is like, I know, because I'm also a control freak, and there are also things that I want to do for myself. So, in that nurturing aspect, you know what? How can I help her do the things that she's going to want to do for herself? Like, how can I do this? Like, okay. Yeah. I know, like, I always listen, fellas, sorry if I'm too much, but I expect the hair and nails on the and the wax. Like, that's included on the budget, right? Because
I want that to be my lifestyle.
But only because, like, I love it. I'm going to, like, definitely do it for myself. But if you know that I love it and it's something I do all the time and it would make me happy if you took care of it for me, then, like, if you can afford it, like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like in that, because to me that shows like in that way that you care. Because like gift giving is high on there, but it's because how I show love is through like physical touch and usually gift giving. Like if I know a person loves, I don't know, Starbucks cups.
I do stuff like that.
And I see a really cool Starbucks cup. I'm going to get the cup and then be like, girl, hey, I saw this. Right. Like it's nothing. But that's not it's so many ways how I also want to receive it. And like, it's almost like I used to talk myself out of being like, well, no, that's how you feel like appreciated is when they do things for you. Yeah. And I realized, that that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just how I am. Yeah. You know?
I like it. I got to work on that.
Okay. I think we're going to throw in a couple ads, take a break, get a bevy. And we will be right back. Hey listeners, this is Lauren Osborne, and we're back at Baggage Claim, the podcast where we're here to take a peek at our luggage, unpack our baggage, decide what we want to keep, and decide what shit we want to throw away. I'm here with a special guest. This is Jazz.
Hello, everybody.
And I think we're going to have a fun episode today. What are we talking about?
Breakups and all the baggage that comes with that.
fun. So, like I always tell everyone, grab your luggage tags, your shades, and maybe a cocktail, and let's get into it. Hey, y'all. So we're talking about breakups and the baggage that comes with them. And yes, oftentimes they can be crappy. Sometimes, though, you do get a sense of relief, you get a sense of freedom. But most of the time, I don't think people get together thinking that it's going to end or
No, not at all.
wanting it to end.
That's
Right?
definitely not the plan. At least you don't show up and say, "I hope that this doesn't work out."
Right. You just don't do that. So I can tell you about mine. I've already kind of talked about it a little bit. I don't even know if it, I know it was once a relationship that then I feel like morphed into a situationship.
Mm.
And now it's morphed into a situationship. Because I I don't really ask for. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. Like,
No, we're
I
not
ask for
gonna.
a
Yeah,
lot.
no, as you should.
But it's not unattainable,
Yep.
right?
Right.
This person, we were into each other, amazing dates, right? First date, so adorable. This man has a chivalry to the max, and I also think, are you a sociopath? But whatever.
Probably.
But literally, one of our dates, he created a picnic for us, right? Like at
Okay.
Bishop Arts. And I'm thinking, okay, it's going really well. Vibes are vibing. I told you about him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We match. I find him super handsome, even though he was like maybe a shorter king than I was used to.
I told you about them short kings.
Right? But they're so good at the same time, right?
Mhm.
Just maybe not too short, but whatever. He was an attorney. I think that he is a very prideful person. I think there's a lot of ego there, which to me is attractive. Like I find ambition and success and confidence really attractive to a point, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I guess those are ways to describe this person. So everything's going well. He's saying all these things about feelings, right? When is your lease up? All of these things.
Ooh,
I decide, right? Okay. So then I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good.
Mhm.
I already have trust issues, so that's like emotional baggage that I'm carrying, right?
Right.
But I decide, like, I think I trust this person. I feel really comfortable. He makes me feel really safe. Our physical chemistry is so good, right?
Okay.
And so then one day I'm like leaving, I get home, I guess after the phone, because we were talking about going to a club. And I said, I told him, I think I actually like you. I said, it's the first time that I feel like I've actually like, really like liked someone in a while.
Time. Yeah.
Right? And you know what my response that I got was?
What?
Crickets.
Yeah, no.
Crickets until like the following day. And for me, like I know that if I'm not in a healthy attachment place, that my style is anxious.
Oh,
so I'm thinking of the worst.
It's just down a rabbit hole.
Just literally, it was something I said.
Down.
Oh, like this person hates me, and I had already told him like this is kind of how I work. Like that's why transparency is really important to me, and I try to be direct.
Yeah.
And so then he was like, oh, no, the feelings are mutual, blah, 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 assuring me, giving me a call. And so I'm thinking, okay, I guess this is a hiccup, even though it really kind of put me in my feelings a little bit, like a little nervous. But then, right? Then I thought, okay, I'm going to like let it go. Then life goes on. And I really feel like maybe a month later, he had gone out of town. It was the rum brunch that we went to.
It was a lit weekend.
It was a lit weekend, right? He goes out of town and then he comes back because he barely talked to me over the weekend. Oof. Sound familiar?
Oof.
And
flags are waving.
Right? And then he comes back and he was like, we need to talk. And I was like, you're kind of freaking me out. I also even made a TikTok about it, right? Catch me at Miss Lady Low on TikTok, by the way. And while I'm at work, right, in the morning, you remember this, right? He is like, I really enjoy you. Like, you're so amazing, all of these things. And he's like, but we can't see each other anymore. Like, I can't see you anymore. I really got to like focus on work. and all of these things. And I was like, oh, wow.
This couldn't wait. Number one.
Right. Like
You
on a
start somebody's
Monday
day off
morning,
like that?
on a Monday
On a
morning,
Monday.
like you're a dick, actually.
Ugh.
Like you're an asshole. And I hope you're listening to this. Um, so that happens. And I was a little shocked, right? I
As
had
you
never
should
been
be.
broken up with before. This is
Ooh,
the first time
it's your
ever.
first. Okay.
My first, well, like I've always been the
So
person
you
that
always do
ended
the breaks.
things. Yeah. And so I was just like, okay, wow. I was
Yeah.
super excited. Like I had therapy later that day or something like that. I think I had it like the following day. Or I texted my therapist and she was like, do you want to move this early? And I was like, I do, because I had started telling her like, I think I'm catching feels. Like I'm starting to feel like there is possibly a future. And so then he did this, and then immediately tried to go back and say like he regretted it, Tina, that he regretted it. And so then it's like, okay, I guess we're trying again. And then I guess things are okay-ish.
Maybe.
But also, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just kind of made me like want to have my guard up. And then this last thing really irked me. I just came back from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm on my holiday, this man is texting me numerous times during the day, asking about my trip, just blowing up my holiday. And I'm trying to like I communicate back. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's thinking of me. Like, he cares. Okay.
Do you, in hindsight now, do you feel like he was really thinking about you, or was just being an asshole and trying to control you from Spain?
I think a blend of both. I think definitely a blend of both. I think that ego is pretty astounding. Yeah. Especially, it's like, listen, I saw a receding hairline. I said what I said. But then I'm arriving back on Saturday, and I know he's going out of town on Saturday for his birthday trip. Right. So I send a happy birthday. I even got this fucker a birthday gift souvenir.
I feel like it always goes downhill at that point.
Right? It is downhill because now
it doesn't even matter if it's a big expensive gift,
right,
or just a thinking of you gift. That's when it goes downhill.
Right? I think I'm just done. Right? Like that's one of the things I wanted to dig into later. So he goes on his trip. Right? I send him like a happy birthday and I hope your trip's going well. After this person blew me up during my holiday abroad. He didn't even go abroad. He went to like the Northwest or something to see some waterfall. What did I hear again? Crickets.
Ugh.
Crickets. And then I didn't hear back until Tuesday. And that's when I said like, like this is a turnoff. Yeah. Like it's just now thinking of you is starting to give me the ick.
Like what flag number are we on?
Right? I realized like I'm now waving. It's not even maybe it's a white flag. Like I'm over it. Like I'm absolutely done. Yeah. And part of me thinks, do I return? Because he got me this dress that he wanted me to wear and like take pictures for him, like on this trip, which I did. And now I kind of feel like I don't even want it. And I feel like the next time I be wearing that dress is to go fuck someone else. Like that's kind of where my mind is.
So I would keep it.
Right?
Because you need it.
Right? From this place like chocolatier or something. I don't know. But I also got him a gift, and part of me now is like, I don't even want to give it to you. But also, I kind of do. So when I give it to him, it's like a fuck you.
So you want to have this closure or I'm done conversation in person?
No, I don't think I want to do it in person. I mean, it could be like a FaceTime, but I know I got to give him that. So,
So how do you do that?
I think I could actually do it in person because I feel like for me, like I always tell people, like, listen, I'm a Libra. You know what I need for sure all the time? Attention and adoration.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the two. Listen, give me those, and literally, I need attention, adoration, and consistency. Right? Because being inconsistent really like messes with my head. I start like painting scenarios in my mind of
All
what it
kind of,
is.
yeah.
And so part of me really wants this closure because I want to see him one more time. Because usually once I get the ick, when I see them, I am like, no, it's a real ick.
Disgusted,
Like I'm
legit
disgusted. And I feel like that's what I need. Like I need to get from thinking maybe he is a nice guy and the timing is right to actually he's not a nice guy and the timing was right and he's not a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I need to see that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely think, I mean, you're better than me. I couldn't do it in person.
You couldn't.
Could not do it in person. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't make it. It wouldn't be closure. It wouldn't be.
Why not?
I'm just not. I wish that I was that girl. I am not that girl.
Wait, so I can't even be friends with my exes, right?
Me neither. So it has to be a hardcore, we're done, clean break. I will block you on every platform possible. And that's just that. Like there's no face-to-face anything. Can't do it.
At all.
At all.
All right. Well, I think for that, we should. Dun, 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 dun. I can't even find it. Ah. It's a cheer, you know? It's a cheer. So what would you do if you were me, what would you do? Like what listeners, what would you do? Like, is it my ego that feels like I need to say something like to close this deal? Like
Partly.
Especially because I've never been dumped.
Yeah.
Like this is shocking to me.
You are still in a place where like, yes, I'm disgusted and I'm over this, but I gotta get my lick back.
I gotta get my lick.
That's where you are with it.
I mean, I took these pictures and it's tough dress. I mean, it was cute, but kind of tacky.
Yeah.
I guess that can match his personality,
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my story of my situationship. And that has not deterred me from attorneys, right? But maybe I don't want a litigation one because I think they're full of shit.
That's how you're supposed to be, though.
Right? I mean,
they're supposed to keep things tied up and in the gray area, and let's just.
I think that's what it is.
No, seriously, that's like that's their thing.
Yeah, and I feel like almost just I don't like being like I don't like you playing in my face. I don't like you messing with my head, and I think it's quite bold.
For sure.
And I also like not to toot my own horn, but like. Motherfucker, I'm a catch.
Like, do you know who I am?
Like a legit one.
Like, you've seen me. You've experienced
I've seen
me.
your ex-wife.
Stop it.
And that's just not on aesthetics. You've told me some things. Yeah. So, sir, are you fucking for real?
Right.
That's how I feel.
I don't blame you.
You know? Like, I'm not into it. And I think that's what I really want because I feel like he really thinks highly of himself, right?
So you need to knock him down.
So I feel like it's my duty and reparation for myself to just be like, well, it was medium sized and I'm over it.
Really, you're not that great.
You're not that great. In fact, you're not even a good guy. Yeah. You're kind of a pussy.
Yeah. All the way around.
All the way around. So since I got you this gift and I would probably think of you since it's here, I don't want it. Yeah. So either you can take it or you can watch me throw it away because that's where we are, the dumpster.
So if this is a FaceTime conversation and he then says, okay, we'll throw it out, then what?
I would say, okay.
Okay.
Your dick was tiny, even though it wasn't. But I mean, it wasn't the best.
Like I'm getting something off. I'm gonna get something off, and you're gonna be hurt,
right?
Before the end of this. Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, I could see why your ex-wife didn't want to fuck you. Yeah. Maybe something like that. You know? Yeah. Because actually, it for me is a little illuminating too. Mm-hmm. Like if these are your dynamics now, I've been married, by the way. I don't want to say it's a scam. It's not a scam, but people change. And your significant other is a actual mirror. It's like a reflection of like all your flaws. Wow. And I feel like maybe she was catching a reflection with that one that she didn't want to see. Ooh. Just saying. No. Well. Bloop. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And don't forget, listeners, you can follow us at a Baggage King podcast on TikTok, a Baggage Claim podcast on YouTube. And if you ever want to submit your stories or questions or your baggage, you can also email us at a baggageclaimpodcast@gmail.com. So please check out these awesome ads, and we'll be right back. Hey, listeners, I'm your host, Lauren Osborne, and welcome back to Baggage Claim. This episode, we're talking about unclaimed baggage, aka breakups, and the baggage that comes with them. And you just heard my crappy situationship that has ended. And now we're gonna hear from Jazz. Let's talk about yours. What's your baggage?
Woo.
Carry on or large luggage?
I think going into my next relationship, there'll be a little bit in the carry on, but I'm hoping that I can unpack all of that before I get to that point.
Perfect.
So no more large luggage, thankfully, because probably about 6 months ago, it was definitely large. Definitely. Lots of anger, lots of hurt. And even when you just say that, okay, I'm not really upset or I'm not mad, I'm just hurt, that is really still a form of anger.
Right.
It is. And it's definitely baggage. And you take that into the world, into all of your other relationships and your interactions with people. You hold on to that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew, so let's do it. Let's jump into it.
Do you want to give him a nickname?
I don't even know what I would call him. Not even worth the nickname.
Fist bump.
Yeah, we'll go with fist bump. We'll get into why that makes sense later.
Okay.
So it's a guy, of course. I met him, and he pursued me, of course. So lots of DMs, lots of once we did exchange numbers, lots of calls, lots of FaceTimes, and I don't like random FaceTimes, but we literally just like he got me into it. So I was like looking forward to these FaceTime calls. So lots of that, lots of talking, just about random stuff. And I was like, do I like this person? Usually I'm drunk when we talk, but maybe I like this person. Let's see. So then I said, well, let me test it out. Let me go hang out with him sober. Same interactions, like had a great time. My girl was into it. She was feeling it. So
yes,
it was, I was like, oh no, we like this person. We really do. So time goes on,
How much time?
I want to say like a year.
Okay.
A year.
Holy crap.
This is like a year of us hanging out, going on dates, definitely having sex, lots of it, lots of good sex. Probably the best I've had. I will give him that. That's my last compliment, though.
Last one.
Lots of it. And in my mind, we was together. This is my man. That was not my man. I don't care what nobody say. But definitely it was a situationship. We're just gonna be honest. And so over time, like things did start changing. Like the calls were less, FaceTimes, text messages, hanging out. Actually, that was less. And I was like, okay, you don't even want to have sex no more. What are we doing? So in this one particular instance, I just knew like we were probably done. But in my mind, I was like, nah, we're not done. We're just going through like a little rough patch. I also had some other stuff going on in life at the time. So I was like, I'm just in a weird space with people. So maybe it's me. So we hang out. We do what we do. We have a great night. We get up the next day. We go have lunch, work from home together. We have a great day. I go home. We talk on the phone the next day. And he's like, you're annoying.
That's
like, it was one of those, like, nobody, him. You're annoying. I was like, well, first of all, I'm just sitting here on FaceTime with you. I wasn't even doing anything. Thought we were having a conversation, but I don't know where this annoying is coming from, but okay. I was like, well, how? He's like, well, you're annoying.
What?
Now, in another episode, we'll talk about friendship breakups.
Right.
Because I'm also, when I say I was going through other stuff in life at the time, that's my other stuff in life at the time. So I was like, well, damn, nobody likes me right now? Like, my friends and you too? I'm annoying everybody? What's going on? And we literally never had another conversation for like 4 months after that conversation. Nothing.
After a year.
Yes.
Of just consistent communication.
Yes. Nothing. For 4 months. And so I'm very prideful. even though it sounds like, I'm very prideful.
As you should.
I was like, I'm not reaching out. Like, I'm not, we talk. So I really was waiting for him to like get out of his mood. Cause I mean, the most we would go, like if we did have those little arguments or something, would be like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
This turned into 4 months. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, we're done, I guess, like completely.
Right.
So with that, I ended up seeing him out at like a spot that we all go to. And he literally looked at me all night, sat by me at one point.
Like by you.
Literally sat by me like I could reach out and touch him. That's how close he was.
Mm.
Didn't say anything. Spoke to everybody around me. Didn't say anything to me directly at all night.
Ugh.
All night. So, of course, at this point, I've been drinking. I'm not a violent drunk, but all of the thoughts in my mind was like, you really could just reach back and hit him. Like, that's how close I was.
Like housewives style, like throw a
like
drink in
literally,
their face.
I could throw a drink in his face. Like, that's how close we were. And it would have landed, like, with no questions asked, like, at all.
Okay.
So, we get to the end of the night, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe he'll talk to me, like, when we're leaving out. He literally gives me a fist bump.
Okay.
Fist bump. And my thing is, you do fist bumps with random people in the office that you know them, but you just
like
don't know
not someone you've been intimate with, that you've talked, not just physically.
Yes, like true intimacy. Like I know things about you that you wouldn't want people to know. Like I've shared things with you about myself that I wouldn't want people to know. Like legit, more than just like we hang out and hook up sometimes. Like legit, we know each other.
Yeah,
we've talked about just life. A fist bump.
That's like a roundhouse kick to the face. I don't know how you were able to remain so calm.
I literally was just like, this, there's no coming back from this.
Ever.
Y'all are done. So at that point, now I finally have gotten to like, okay, legit, this is done. I blocked them on my phone. It's like, you can't, even if you just do decide you want to reach out, you can't contact me anymore. Access denied. Right.
And how do you feel?
Oh, right now I feel great because, like, I mean, of course, now more time has passed, and I've actually seen him a few times now. I don't feel the same though.
But without the fist bump?
Yeah, like I mean, he's just he still is like weird. Like in public, he won't speak, but social media, he wants to be friends, which is weird. Because,
so if you
friends in real life
in public, like tomorrow,
yeah,
would you talk?
Nope, he would have to speak first.
Okay.
He would have to speak first.
Because you don't have anything to say.
No, I don't want to say anything. Like,
do you have anything to say?
I mean, I think if I was given the opportunity, I don't know if I would. That's why I say, like, in person, I might be too emotional. I might be too emotional still. Like, I feel like it's something that, yes, it's in my carry-on. Like, do I need to take it out and, like, really just, like, show it to him? Show the world? Like, do we still need to do that? Or is it something I can move on with? I don't know if I'm there yet.
I don't know.
I don't feel like I'm there yet.
Are there any souvenirs that you want to take?
Ooh. I mean, he taught me some things.
That's how I feel. I've learned.
I have learned some tricks that I definitely will take into, and I don't want to say next situationship, but into my next relationship, definitely. Yeah, I've definitely learned some things about myself too. So yeah.
So your souvenir is, I learned some things.
Definitely, it's definitely a learning experience. You cannot just take somebody's words. Their actions need to match.
Right.
They need to be consistent, which is, as you know, for us is a problem when it's not consistent. I can't do it. We just can't. It doesn't work for us.
I don't think, and I don't even want to put that on genders either. I think that people who want stability and consistency, that's what they want. That's what they need.
True.
And that's why I always say the two things that, like my therapist taught, either you're unaware, you're unwilling. So maybe you don't know that you're hurting someone's feelings. Maybe you don't know that the way you're treating them is badly or poorly, right?
I think they know.
But then the other thing is, that's the unaware part. Yeah. And then once they do know that it would bother you, or that you might get anxious about it, or that it you need consistency and they are consistently not, that's unwilling.
Yeah.
And that that speaks for itself,
Yeah.
right?
And that's why I had to tell myself, like, if he wanted to call, he would have. Even though I blocked him. If he wanted to reach out, he would have. He didn't want to. He
Right.
didn't care enough to.
There it is. If they wanted to, they would.
Yeah. I mean, it solves so much when you're like holding on to stuff and you're waiting and trying to figure out how to feel about it and what to do with it. Just think about that in itself. If that person wanted to,
they absolutely would. What's even crazier is they would because you saw the effort that they put in before.
Gosh, yeah.
And it was like a complete switch up.
Different person. Like, completely different person. Like, I'd never had somebody cook for me. And this man would consistently cook for me. Like, come over, I'm cooking. Or would literally go to the grocery store and come to my house and cook it. Like, I mean, I don't know if to a lot of people that's small, but that was a big deal to me. Because who does that? I don't like going to the grocery store, personally.
That is kind of a big deal.
I don't. He doesn't shop online for his groceries either. He goes to the store.
Oof, I can't do that.
Like, I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it. I feel like, okay, we have our souvenirs. We have the shit that we're leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I would say for your future, right? If you were putting the items that you wanted in the bag, that you wanted from a future partner, companion, what would they be?
So the effort that was shown initially, I would want that, but I would want that to be who they truly are.
Yeah.
And not just something that they do to get what they want.
Right.
Really quickly.
Right.
That would be the biggest thing for me.
Stand on it.
Yeah. Like, be about it. Yeah. Be that person.
Right. Because now I think maybe I was gullible and I can own my own things, especially towards the end, like hanging on and like not catching on to those red flags.
Right.
And I guess kind of ignoring things that I feel like if it were my friend and they were describing it, you would be like, girl. I mean, as I was describing my scenario, you were like, red flag, red flag, red flag. But then when you start to catch feelings for someone,
it's so hard.
It could be quickly resolved.
You will ignore so many things when they give you just a little inch or a little glimpse of what they used to do, and what they could be. So, I mean, you play a part in it too because it's like you realized at some point things had changed, but then they also realized things had changed for you too, and they needed to figure out a way to keep it going.
Yeah.
So you have to acknowledge, like, okay, I realized that happened, and I still let it happen.
And I still let it happen.
So that's my thing. Like, yes, I will not get caught slipping again just because he cooking. Like, I will not get caught slipping again.
I was like, I want to give this shit back, and I just want to talk to you super quickly. He just texted me. He's like, "It's 10 too late?" I said, "It's not, because it's going to be super quick."
Yeah, don't worry.
Like, real quick.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if I was going to say what I want to be surprised. I want someone that's attentive and that is consistent.
Yes.
I want someone who wants to be there, who wants to
That's
be
a big one too.
with me. Like, you make the choice. Actually, this is the person that I want to be with.
Yeah.
And I want to know that you're choosing me and I'm choosing you.
Because you want to.
Because you want to. Not you're obligated or you feel bad or you just want something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't subscribe to that. I want to feel desired and I want to feel respected enough to be treated the way they would want to be treated.
Exactly.
Like, I just don't think that that's a big stretch or ask.
But it seems like it's like asking for a lung or a heart. Like, it's just like,
right?
You seriously can't do this?
Right? I'm like, maybe I need a change of scenery or something. But then I think, nah, it's bullshit around the world.
I mean, that's everywhere. I feel like it don't matter what language they speak, right? How tall they are. Because he was tall too, y'all. But it don't matter. Like, it don't matter at all.
Right? And it feels like, I guess what I would take, what I would carry, I guess, would be the things I described. And I feel like my souvenir is, he taught me some things, And he taught me some other things. Like, you accept the shit you think you deserve, and I think I deserve way more.
Yeah. Mine is to not go with the flow so much.
Yeah, like not be so laid back like the cool girl.
Yes, not to do that. It's cool in a way, because like that's definitely a quality I know that men like. But the wrong type of man, that's not a good quality to have.
Thumbs up. So now I'm kind of thinking, what should I say? Because we're really checking out this luggage. It's about to be unclaimed, lost, blocked.
Yeah, all of that.
So I'm just going to say, like, I think you're full of shit. I think that you are not the nice guy that you portray.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, this was a farce and you got me. And thank you for your time.
Yeah. I mean, it's short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't leave anything out. You didn't sugarcoat it. It's straight to the point in what it is.
Right? You're not a good guy.
Because, I mean, really, that's the part that I would start with that.
Yeah.
You're not a good guy.
You're not a good guy. You're not.
Because that's a thing in itself. That,
right.
I'm sure that's
I'm sure. I really want to be like, I'm
itself.
sure you believe it. I'm sure
because those are the most dangerous guys.
Yeah. I'm sure you believe you're a good guy, but you're not a good guy.
The ones that think that they are a good guy and they didn't do anything wrong.
Right?
Those are the ones that you have to really watch out for.
Yeah. But I don't really like bad boys either. I don't know what I want. I just want
bad boys are fun.
Something real.
Yeah.
Something worthy.
Right.
For all of us, right?
I think that's what we all want at the end of the day.
I would hope.
It's just a matter of actually finding the person that is legit wanting to do that with you.
Right.
That's the hard part.
Right. And please don't pretend that you do if you don't.
Because this is the thing. It's not necessary.
It's really not.
Oftentimes, you can just get the pussy if that's all you want.
Right. I mean, if that was it,
seriously,
it could have been completely different.
We didn't have to do the year. We didn't have to.
A year.
We didn't have to. We didn't have to do the dates. We didn't have to.
Right. I feel like I'm on.
Didn't have to.
Yeah, a few months, but thank God not my whole summer.
Like, how am I in a relationship but I'm not in a relationship?
Right.
Craziness. Never again. That was my last situationship for real.
I don't know if it's going to be like my last one. But I want more than that. So maybe so, you know, I don't want to like close. I'm not, especially now, like where I am just in life, I'm not really afraid to end up alone.
Yeah.
I have realized I can do a lot of things by myself.
Yeah.
So I really want you to add to my life, like, because you want to.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then fucking say it.
It's not hard. It's
just
really
say it,
not
you know?
hard.
But like, don't be such a fraud that now you're leaving extra baggage. Like now you're adding to it, because I don't like the self-doubt you get.
Yeah.
Right?
It comes with,
It comes with during, as it's fading out, and then the after.
After, yeah.
It's the after. It's what we're carrying, right?
Right.
And I feel like, I guess for me, in this situation, I think what I'd want to let go of is one, the idea of this person, because it was an idea.
That is so hard.
It's not really who they are.
That is the part that you struggle with the most, and that's the part that hurts the most once you realize this person is not who I thought they were.
Right.
Because it's like, am I crazy? Did I make this up? Then you start questioning everything.
Right.
Was anything real?
Right. I don't think it was.
What is life? Like, it just, you spiral. Like,
I don't think it was ever real. Like that's where I'm at.
Ridiculous.
And I hate to say it because I feel like I don't like to really like walk with regrets, and I don't
Right.
even really want to feel like I'm wasting my time. But I kind of like, I definitely stopped talking to other people, like potentials and all that,
Listen,
for someone who could have just been upfront and
yeah,
not a
you
coward
didn't have to do that.
and or a fraud.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, be the Tinder swindler, but
Oh my
but
goodness.
stand in it.
Be who you are.
Be who you are. Like, say
Seriously.
those things, but stand in it. Because I was actually, and that's the other thing I think that really rubs me wrong.
Mhm.
Because I know, especially as women, like sometimes you want to fit into a box or fit into a frame that you
Right.
want them to see you in.
Yeah.
But this time I was literally all myself. Like, I was so authentic that when it first happened, I started thinking like there's something wrong with me,
Yeah.
right? But when I realized, like, I guess I'm taking away too is like, no, I actually really enjoyed myself in this relationship.
Mhm.
I was exactly who I was and who I
Yeah.
wanted to be. And it just, let's just throw it in the, it just didn't work out.
Yeah. I think I lost myself. I don't
Mhm.
think I was not my true self, which I mean, of course, like, I mean, I was myself and I was honest about who I am and what I wanted. But I think that I definitely did try to fit into his world in any type of way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, what do you need? What do you need from me today? How do you need me to be today?
Right.
I definitely lost myself and tried to be whatever it is that he needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that still didn't work.
Right? It wasn't enough. So it's like, why even try?
Yeah, so I mean, now I'm like, no, I'm going into my next as myself completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, this is me. This is my baggage. Are you with it or not?
Right. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. Okay, you guys, I feel like we have a couple of more stories to read just to like throw out some opinions, but we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. What up, listeners? Welcome back to Baggage Claim. It's me, your host, Lauren Osborne, and we're here with Jazz, hopefully
Hello.
a co-host or at least recurring on this
Yes, I will
podcast.
definitely be back.
It's very enjoyable. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update on this situation that I need to shut down. And you know why I'm saying this and putting this on the podcast? It's for
You
accountability,
gotta stand on
babes.
this shit now.
I've got to stand on
You
it,
got to.
okay? I've got to nip this in the bud and
Mhm.
can't even do a drunken late night
You
text.
can't go
I've got
back.
to nip this
Yeah.
in the bud. And you listeners, I appreciate you being here because I'm going to do that,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So I said, hey, do you have like a few minutes to chat? I just want to like get you your shit. And he was like, yeah, we can chat at 10, which is like in 30 minutes. Um, and then he was like, what did he say? What did he say? This motherfucker. Excuse my language. Sorry, guys. It is PG. He said, regarding the gift, that's not necessary. And I said, you know what? I spent time picking this gift,
Mhm.
and you've already wasted enough of my time.
Yeah.
Please don't add to it. Have I gotten a response? No. I'll keep you posted. But this is just for all of us here to listen to because we've heard and seen the red flags.
Yeah.
My eyes are open and they're not rose colored, you guys. So
Glasses are off.
I'm nipping this shit in the butt
Yeah.
tonight. Stay tuned. That's like a woo. Okay, so we have another submission that we found on Reddit that I think is really poignant, right? Maybe for today. Which one are we doing?
I think acceptance.
Okay.
It kind of brought up something that I think is you can use it for healing once you do get to that point with the baggage.
Right.
So we'll start with that one. All right.
Okay. Do you want to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Okay. So it says, I'm a logical person and I understand the realities of human emotion. But for some reason, my mind goes back and forth as to how my ex feels. And I have such a hard time accepting that he might not have feelings for me. I've been in relationships before and have had breakups where they just weren't feeling it and it never affected me. I would just accept it, thank them for their honesty, and move on. But the only thing helping me accept this breakup is thinking that he got in his head, got scared, is a fearful avoidant, didn't feel good enough, and self sabotaged. I'd really like to reach the stage where I can stop thinking about him.
Damn.
That one was, it was deep. At first, I was like, what do you mean just accept it? But then the point of, well, maybe this person self sabotaged this because they couldn't handle it. They weren't ready for it. They knew it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like, nope, I'm not ready for this. I'm not meant to be involved with this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's helped me a lot. That's how I got into a point to where I can laugh and talk about Mr. Fist Bump and not cry about it. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with me.
Well, I didn't think there was.
I mean, that's what I told myself.
I think it's the truth.
I told myself, like, oh, no, I did this, this, and this, and that's why he didn't want to be here. No, he just was not my person.
Mm-hmm. Just
not my person. And so what's helped me is to literally tell myself, like, this didn't work out because he wasn't ready. He couldn't do it. It's not you.
Right.
And of course I'm not perfect, but it's like, that's what I told myself to heal. Like, you are amazing. Move on from it.
Yeah. And I think what you told yourself in reality is probably the truth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not like a fake it till you make it. I feel like, right? Sometimes kind of as shitty as it is, like not necessarily in your heart, but in your gut.
Right.
That even though I feel like for me, even listening to that and knowing like what I'm going to be doing in like the next few minutes, I feel like I could get emotional about it, and maybe I will because you're kind of allowed to have those.
Yeah,
like
it's human nature,
right?
You're a person.
I mean, if you cried, right? Like your body produces tears. Like that's a thing. It is it's biological as well. But I also feel like it can be a launch too, because I don't really want to carry around this not knowing indecision, and I really know, y'all, I'm not tooting my own horn, but if I was going to toot a horn, it'd be for myself. I'm going to gas myself up. And I think I'm kind of I know I'm a good person, but I feel like I'm kind of dope.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And I feel like timing is everything. And also I'm not going to try to force something. Like why? Like I really believe that Yewa and the universe and my ancestors literally have things planned for me and laid out for me. And I'm like, bro, I don't think you're part of the plan.
Think about it as like just checking the bag. You don't have to carry it.
Yeah.
So why would you if you don't have to?
Yeah. I feel like that's an awesome way to close this episode. What do you think?
I think so.
Any final thoughts, or where can the listeners find you?
On all social media platforms, I am Just Gorgeous. That's JUSTGORJAZZ.
And I'll make sure to add those in the episode notes. And thank you guys so much for listening to Baggage Claim. Just keep in mind we all have baggage. No one's perfect. It's really kind of how you carry it and what you decide to drop. Or check. But thanks so much for listening, you guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.